Hello everyone, Josh here and welcome back to DD Trains, a channel solely dedicated to trains. And welcome back to the second episode of The Layout, where I provide you major updates regarding my model train layout. And indeed, I have some huge updates regarding my model train layout. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So in the last video, I talked about how these tables were completely scratch built by me and my dad. And while our woodworking and craftsmanship skills are below average, we were still able to produce the results that we wanted. However, that came with some issues. One of the major design flaws of these tables was that the support beams did not provide adequate support, meaning that over time the platforms would slowly sink into the middle, causing the surface to be uneven. Over time, we would remedy this by adding 2x4s for supports instead of using 1x2s. But we only did this for certain platforms, and because of the fact that the tables are just so big and tucked away into the corner of the room, we could only access the tables from one side. Okay, so here we are at the train room. So a little example of what I meant was that, as you can see, we got these 2x4s here, which supplied support for this platform. As you can see, it's no longer seeping in the middle. Another example would be this platform here. We have these longer 2x4s. And they provide adequate support for the top platform. However, if we go down, I don't know if you can see it that well, but it kind of seeps in the middle for the second platform, and we're only using like 1x2s for that one. So I don't really know how to go about fixing that one, because it would involve taking this top platform off and just moving this one, which is something that I don't really want to do. You can kind of look and see that this second platform here that also uses 1x2 kind of seeps a little bit, but I don't think it's that noticeable. Another issue or example of seeping through is this top platform right here. If you look way back in the middle of the screen, you'll see a 2x4 providing support to sort of even out this platform. I also had to add a 2x4 at the bottom of the second platform, and as well as I put a little block in the middle here so that it wouldn't seep through on the bottom. So those are just a few examples of how me and my dad have tried to fix the issue. But the main issue that I want to focus on for this video is right here. As you can see here, this platform right here is sinking a lot. And it's causing issues for this Tomy Blue track right here. You can probably see the unevenness right here. There's like a huge wall here. And what we need to do is we need to bring this platform up so that the level can be even and the track won't snap every time a train rolls over it. The same thing goes for this platform over here. You probably can't tell because this support beam right here is in the way, but this area definitely needs to be brought up and made even. So the way to do that is the same way I solved this issue, because I was also having leveling issues with this platform. As you can see here, there's this large metal bracket here that's been screwed into this 4x4 support beam, and I have this. Let me get another example right here. So we're going to use these metal brackets to install them to bring this level up. Now it's going to be a tedious task, but I think I can do it. So it took about 10 to 15 minutes, but I think I managed to fix my issue. The thing here was that this switch track, this double switch track right here, was uneven, and I think I managed to make it a lot more even. My original intent was to screw this metal bar in the same way I did with this one, but it was just so hard to get that angle in there, so I opted just to turn it and push it up like this and use a hammer to jack it up. And though this may not be the most ideal way to do it, I think this will do the trick. After all, me and my dad installed this metal bracket here, and it's been holding up for, I would say, at least a year at this point. So, I guess we consider that one completed. Now let's move on to the next one. So this one I was able to do in a significantly less amount of time. As you can see, I got the bracket drilled in on this side. It is holding up this part of the table. And while you guys may not be able to see the difference, I certainly see the difference. This table is looking a lot more even than it did before. For the tracks here, see with that red buffer stop between the switch on your right and the other pieces of track on your left, that gap that you see in there, I had to use 2 small pieces of wood to prop those pieces of track up because it was sinking, but now I don't need to have those pieces of wood there anymore because it's a lot more even. So overall, this project was in fact a success. Very happy with how things turned out. So now let's move on to the next step. Lighting. I'm sure you guys have noticed by now about how there are certain parts of my PlayRail layout that are lacking in the appropriate lighting. Well, to fix this issue, I went out and bought some LED motion sensor lights. My hope is that these lights will detect the movement of the trains and automatically turn on as they pass by. So the lights that I'm going to be using are these, I think you pronounce it Vanlight motion sensor LED lights. Hopefully these sensors are able to pick up the movement of my trains. According to the sensitivity side on this box, it says it has a 9 feet distance, which is plenty of space. So let's go ahead and take these out of the box and see what we got going on here. This box comes with 3. 3 are not enough to support my layout, but I only started off with 1 because I just want to make sure that these are actually the ones that'll suit my needs. So good grief. So they use magnets. This part is magnetic here. You basically just take this strip off, it becomes sticky, you stick it to the surface, and then the back part of the light connects here. Now the next thing I need to do is add my batteries. Now these lights do not use wires. In fact, you need 4 AAA batteries. Luckily for me, I got a whole pack right here. I believe, according to the instructions, you just slip 1 in there. There we go. Alright, so these are quite bright. So I think it just turned on just to show as like sort of like a test to see if it's on. It does say that in a well-lit area they won't work because the whole point is that they're not in a lit area. So I'm going to turn this back lamp off here, wave my hand. It's not working. Let me turn off the other lights. Hold on. Okay, so now I got them working. It really just boils down to whether or not you're in a well-lit area. So I guess the question then becomes, is my track layout dark enough for these lights to work? Well, I don't know, we'll just have to see. Okay, so I just got the light installed. I put it right above the track because the goal is to have a train move by and have the light be able to pick up the sensor. So I tried doing a couple tests, but apparently the motion sensor doesn't seem to be picking up the trains. I've went ahead and installed it back up one last time, and I'm going to do one final test run of the trains to see if they work. So let's just see if this will happen. We've got 2 trains coming right now. Yeah, so apparently that did not work. The motion sensor does not pick up the 2 trains. I guess it makes sense. This product wasn't specifically designed for this type of thing, which is unfortunate, but it looks like I'm gonna have to go for the next best option. Strip lights. Okay, so here we are back at the layout 2 days later. After that whole motion sensor light fiasco, I decided to go with a more reliable option, and that is using these LED strip lights. I believe they were made by Daybetter. I think I bought 2 boxes. Each box comes with 40 feet of lights total. Each little coil here is 20 feet, I believe. I bought 2 because I want to do one for the second level and the first level, as they'll both need lighting. Now, the tricky thing is just being able to reach under these tables and turn them at the light, each strip light at a 90-degree angle. But I went on YouTube and figured that out, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I know for a fact that these lights will be reliable because I'm actually using those same lights right now in my room. These lights I got way back in October of 2023 when I first moved into this place, and even to this day they still work just fine. They even come with a dimmer switch. I guess a good example would be to just go ahead and try this out here. So this light powers these lights. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get these installed, and let's see how well they go. Okay, so here we are back at the layout. I think it's been at least a week, but I finally managed to get these lights installed. So without further ado, let me turn these lights on and show you the final design. So, like the lights on the ceiling here, these lights works exactly the same way. They have this knob here, which not only acts as an on and off switch, but it's also a dimmer switch so that you can control the brightness. I have a set of lights here on the second floor, and I have another set of lights here on the first floor. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this knob, and just like that, we have light. The Lord said, "Let there be light." Pretty good, huh? Now the first floor, I don't have any trains set up on the first floor just yet. I still need to collect Trackmaster track, Trackmaster Revolution track, and some N-Scale track. So pretty much Playrail is going to be getting all the love from me. It took 3 rolls of 40 feet long strip wires. Each of these wires is 8 millimeters, and I had to use these special plastic connections to do so. There's a connection over here, so let me see. The light's very bright, so I don't know if you can see it. I'll take a close-up picture and show it for you on the screen here, but essentially I had to use these connectors to extend the lights. Probably would have been more ideal to just measure things out beforehand, because this was another issue too and why it took so long. Eventually I ran short on lights and I had to purchase more off Amazon. I ended up purchasing more than what I actually needed. I'm sure my dad will definitely appreciate those lights. I've decided to give it to him. But other than that, this layout looks absolutely amazing. No more of that dark space that sort of ruins the experience of my trains running. And when the time comes where I'm finally able to expand this Trackmaster and N-Scale layout, I will definitely be looking forward to that. Getting these lights up was kind of a pain. I sort of had to get on my back, similar to how you use a creeper to get under your car, and install these lights manually because there's just so much distance in the back, as you can see by me reaching out my hand. I had to provide a little bit of support underneath each table, and I even had to redo this support a little bit. But overall, this project was an absolute success. I'm very happy with the way things turned out. So without further ado, let's get into the running session and see just how much these lights have enhanced my model train experience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes it for the running session of this video. Thank you so much. If you've made it this far into the video, I know it was a long one. As your reward, I will skip over to the next part of the video, which is where I will give you some helpful tips as well as some important lessons that I have learned while doing this project. Tip number 1, use strip lights. Yeah, that was probably pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, use strip lights. Don't use any of those motion sensor lights that I used. They were never intended for model trains. It probably, I mean, hindsight is 2020, but it probably should have been a given that those things would not work. But don't worry, again, I am using those motion sensor lights for another purpose that is proving to be absolutely very useful to me. I'm even considering on getting more from my workbench inside the train room. So who knows, maybe in the next video you'll get to see more of that. Tip number 2 is to be sure to measure the amount of strip lights that you will need. In hindsight, I could have saved myself a lot more time and possibly more money by just buying longer strips. If I'd known that I would need more than, you know, one roll. So definitely measure beforehand. Tip number 3, know the type of strip lights that you're using. There was no real issue that I had with this, but the strip lights that I was using were 8mm ones. So when you're buying connectors and you need to extend them, you also want to buy connectors that are also for 8mm wire. Because if you don't use the right connectors, you're going to run into some more issues. There are plenty of tutorials online that involve talking about how to cut strip lights and how to connect them. Using these connectors were relatively easy. I only ran into one little hiccup when it came to connecting the lights on the bottom floor, but I was very easily to remedy that. And tip number 4, get an extra set of hands if you can. If you notice in like the first portion of the video, I kind of struggled a little bit to install those metal brackets up. I tried installing them one way, but then quickly switched over to doing it another way because it was just me. Now, granted, this way of doing it was probably a lot more efficient. But again, whenever you're working with tools and these big pieces of wood tables, you know, such as mine, you want to get an extra set of hands if you can. So that pretty much concludes it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope the layout looks a lot better in your eyes because it certainly does in mine. Stay tuned for the next video, everyone. This is DD Trains signing off, saying goodbye, and as always, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.